Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are looking at a couple of gems from the 90s, from the X-Men. Amazing X-Men and Astonishing X-Men from the Age of Apocalypse event. A couple of fun issues, some great art by Andy Kubert and Joe Madureira. Cannot wait to show them to you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. So these are just two. I believe that all the X-Men titles were canceled and gave way to this alternate reality, Age of Apocalypse type of X-Men. And they did like four-issue miniseries. One was Amazing X-Men, one was Astonishing X-Men. I kind of forget the other two. So these are the ones we're going to look at today. And I don't know which order they might go in, so it might not matter, but we're going to save the best for last with the Joe Madureira art. I love me some Joe Mad art. Are you guys fans of the Joe Mad X-Men era? Where he kind of introduced manga to the American comic book audience. And even though, you know, manga's been around for years and popular for years, but Joe Madureira kind of made it popular within superhero comic books with his breakout manga style on the X-Men. This looks like a Ken Stacy painting. That is cool. So this is 1995. Arguably, you know, people cringe and say 90s comics are horrible, but they're actually getting a bad rap, I feel. There are a lot of great comics from the 90s. I feel like this is one of the few post-Chris Claremont X-Men books that were actually good. I like this event. So anyway, people are, you know, rethinking the 90s. They're being popular again. People, you know, 90s back issues are actually rising in price for the first time. So don't be afraid to stock up on those dollar boxes. If you see those 90s comics, scoop them up. And this is some great art. I mean, we're talking Kubert brothers here. So I guess the Age of Apocalypse, alternate timeline, let's see. I mean, you get, that's what I think is fun when the X-Men do, like, sort of alternate timelines, and you get, like, different versions of them. Especially, like, they're always darker and dystopian and, you know, worst case scenario, and it's just fun to see different costumes and things. Quicksilver doesn't stray too far from his original design. You know, they keep a lot of the elements there. Let's see, Fabian Nicieza, writer, Andy Kubert, penciler, Matt Ryan, inker, Kevin Summers, color art, Starkings and Comicraft lettering, Digital Chameleon, Separation, Bob Heretic. Heretic. That might have been a Freudian slip. Editor-in-chief. I think Bob Harris goes down in history as a villain in the comic book history of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe, if I recall correctly. Deserved? I don't know. You know, whatever. It wasn't a great era for comics, but like I said, this was a fun thing. I feel like Fabian Nicieza did a better job following Chris Claremont than Scott Lobdell did. I'm not a fan of Scott Lobdell. Oh, I love seeing Nanny from the famous... See, and herein lies not really the problem. I guess it's okay in this one, but it's like... I feel like Chris Claremont just should have been allowed to keep going forever and just see it out as far as he possibly could, because he really did lay the bricks. And once he left, like, everything was just a freaking rehash of everything he had done. Everyone putting their spin on it. How can I make the Dark Phoenix saga better? Well, guess what? You can't do it. Interesting sidebar here. Smoking in comics. Smoking was banned in Marvel Comics, obviously post 1995, 96. Did I say? I think this was 95. Although he is chastising her for smoking, so that's good. Magneto with the ponytails here. I feel like that came from Joe Madureira's design, and Joe Madureira actually designed a lot of the characters for this Age of Apocalypse storyline, and really just, like, flexed and showed his strength. Like, I think a couple of the designs survived. They were so popular, like, like the Sunfire design where he sort of like really amped it up and just made it look cooler than you could imagine. I'm hoping he pops up in here somewhere, and I imagine he will. It was probably already on page 3 and I just wasn't paying attention, but whatever. I am sort of like, oh, here's the inevitable point in an Image comic when we turn it sideways. Note, we're in 1995, so this is like Image definitely like making art trend and certain things popular. Although arguably, I mean, were the Kubert brothers already doing that before Image? I don't know. I mean, the Kubert brothers very well could have been like founding members of Image. I mean, that would have been kind of crazy because I feel like the Kubert brothers, like, they relied on them to sort of save the day when the Image founders jumped ship. And imagine if they would have taken them with them. I don't know that they ever did do their own creator-owned stuff, which is kind of interesting. They've had such an interesting career. They started out as letterers, like when they were 13 and 14, which is crazy. But I mean, Joe Kubert, your father, he has a school to teach comic books. I mean, you best take advantage of that education right there. And they have the talent to back it up. It's funny because I kind of go back and forth. Like, I appreciate both brothers for their own kind of art. I thought I liked Andy better, but I mean, some of that stuff Adam Kubert did on Wolverine is just like so crazy good. Oh, and Adam Kubert's, I think Action Comics. Remember that? That was really good too. Okay, Joe Madureira cover, inked by Tim Townsend. I love this art. Like, this was so fun and different at the time. I mean, in a way it wasn't because, you know, Joe Madureira started out very heavily influenced by Art Adams, and you can see it in a lot of the detailing on the faces and stuff like that. But, I mean, a welcome copycat, if you will. And not even that much of a copycat. Like, it was kind of a marriage. Arguably, though, you know, Art Adams was influenced by Mike Golden, and Michael Golden was influenced by manga. So it's all very, I was going to use a word that would probably get me flagged, so I'm not going to use that word. But it's all very homogenous. How's that? Look at this double page spread. That is so cool. I love stuff like that. I love like a quiet double page spread like that, just showing like a huge image of your cast of characters. Although interesting, and I don't know if this is because he is kind of a young artist and very kind of green still at the same time. I mean, Joe Madureira is definitely one of those artists who like got to work professionally, got professional work based on the pure potential and, you know, like fun that his pencils showed. And you literally see him get better as an artist month after month. And I kind of miss that in comics. I don't really feel like you see that anymore. I feel like all the art kind of looks the same. If you pick up like X-Red or Red X, or I mean, all the logos look the same, all the teams look the same, the art looks like the same stiff, like Procreate kind of art. Not to knock it, because I use it too, but I think the digital inking, I don't know, it takes away something from it. It takes away a texture that I even myself lament. I mean, I don't deny it. There are masters of it who can definitely make digital inking look, you know, completely fine, and screw you. I mean, and, you know, God bless you for that ability and talent, but, you know, I don't know. It's always evolving. There's good stuff, there's bad stuff. That's the way it's always been, right? But I do love me some traditional comic book art. If nothing more, for the pure joy of holding the page in your hand and just seeing, like, the minutia of detail. I don't know. There is just something fun about the X-Men, right, guys? Like, I don't know. There always will be. Like, I mean, it just gives you a special thrill. Like, I just got a special thrill turning the page and seeing a Joe Madureira Gambit here. And then there's the Sunfire I am talking about. Is that not the coolest design ever? I love that so much. Like, I mean, it just speaks volumes of his, like, sort of nuclear type power or whatever. And just, like, such a creepy but cool design. Like, you go, Joe Madureira. Great designer. I always loved his, different costume designs and stuff. His little manga influence. I feel like are we due for a new Joe Madureira comic? I feel like he's bringing back Battle Chasers, and as much, I would like to see anything by Joe Madureira, so bring it on, I say. But I'm not really missing it, you know what I mean? And I think therein lies the problem sometimes, is because if he were like, oh my God, you heard it here first, some dream projects that are never going to happen. Like, Joe Madureira and Chris Claremont never worked together, right? So they're both still alive. Why not do like some crazy Chris Claremont, like, ultimate graphic novel with Joe Madureira, or miniseries, however you want to do it. You feel me? You feel me? I love this page here. There's so much goodness going on here. I love the zipatone. I love just like the shadow. So even without the benefit of Chris Claremont as writer, Joe Madureira still was an amazing X-artist. And I think the cream of the crop do owe a lot to their collaboration with Claremont. Oh my God, I love these big lips. I love him going hard on all that under shading, just like out of nowhere. Like, that is so cool. I just love that panel so much for, I don't even know why. It gives me joy. Did we say who the, yeah, I think we did go over the credits, didn't we? Scott Lobdell, oh gosh. Yeah, terrible writer. Joe Madureira, penciler. Dan Green and Tim Townsend, inkers. Chris Eliopoulos, letters. Steve Buccellato, colors. Bob Harris, hot seat. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Joe Madureira and Tim Townsend. Chris Eliopoulos, I always liked his letters. Steve Buccellato, he was like pretty big. I remember, I feel like his coloring house was called Electric Crayon, which I always thought was cool. And like I said, that is gorgeous right there. Rogue, I like her Age of Apocalypse design too. It's pretty iconic. Very cutesy anime girl, right? Bishop. Anyway, so that's just 2 issues from the amazing Age of Apocalypse storyline from the X-Men in the 90s. Totally worth checking out, you guys. Fun art by Andy Kubert, Joe Madureira. There's a couple more. I don't know if I did them. I'll find them. Whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel. Hit like, share my content, and I'll bring you more later.